At Leftover Chef, we share delicious ways to reuse leftovers to save money and help the planet. Welcome to an occasional spin on the show, Celebrity Chef Chat. Welcome to my very special guest, Mark Bittman. I am so excited to have a couple of minutes with you. I was fortunate enough to attend a panel that Mark was a part of. And for those of you, I'm sure that you all know, Mark has written dozens of cookbooks. He is a former New York Times columnist, one of the most prolific food writers, I feel, in the country. I have How to Cook Everything. It's been my Bible. And welcome, and thank you for talking to me today.
My pleasure.
The panel he was just on today discussed how to make technology work better for home cooks and kind of what the future looks like. And the thing that struck me the most was your comment about how, at the end of the day, the cooking is not really about what we just do in the kitchen. It's about conceiving of the dish and shopping for the dish and planning for the dish. So talk to me a little bit about how you feel about that. Something you said, I almost raised my hand and said, yeah, when you said, when I get in the kitchen, it's my happy place. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Right, but it's, food starts in the ground.
Yes.
The only thing in the world that creates biomass is plants. And plants are sun and water and soil. That's it. So it all starts there, and it all goes back there, of course, as well. And it's our job to take care of the beginning and take care of the end. And in the meantime, we get to enjoy it. And, we call it cooking, but it's really procuring or shopping. It's storing, it's chopping, it's getting stuff ready. And then cooking is technically applying heat, but it's just the last step in the process before you eat. All the other stuff matters just as much, if not more.
Right.
And then what happens afterwards matters a lot. Also, I know it's what you're interested in.
Right. Well, one of the things I read a little bit about some of the things that you write about, and you talk about leftovers, and my viewers know that I'm really big on trying to keep food out of the landfill. It is 40% of the food that we make or order and bring home gets thrown in a landfill. It costs a person in this country about $1,500 a year at a time when food prices are skyrocketing. Talk to me a little bit about some of the techniques you use and the things that you like to repurpose into leftovers.
What's funny is it's really impossible to cook for one or two people. If you try to cook for one person, you're cooking for two. And if you try to cook for two, you're cooking for four.
That's so true.
And it's just like always.
Right.
I don't quite get it because I try, but I'm like, I'm just going to put so few things in there that it's just going to be for me. And then there's a ton of leftovers.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't usually do things with leftovers. I reheat them and eat them.
Yeah.
I certainly don't throw them out. Sometimes you intentionally make more of something like beans or grains or you could make chicken, whatever.
Right.
And I think what's helpful with leftovers that you are intentionally cooking in order to be leftovers is to have a notion of what you're going to do with them before you start
planning
cooking.
that second meal ahead of time.
I'm roasting a chicken, then tomorrow night I'm going to make chicken salad. The next day I'm going to make stir fries with whatever's left or whatever is that kind of thing.
Right.
So
planning versus looking in the fridge saying, oh, I don't want to eat these meatballs with pasta again. What could I do with them?
Right.
So being inspired or planning.
But, I'm really have not thought about this in a long time. So your questions are interesting. You have to think of leftovers as an ingredient, right? That's what they are. There's something in your refrigerator that you need to figure out a way to use. They're not like, oh my God, they're leftovers. It's like
leftovers as an ingredient. That's inspired. I hope you don't mind if I continue to preach that message from you, giving you full credit, of course.
No charge.
Thank you. I know you've got a busy schedule. I'll ask you one final question. What's one of the most empowering things a home cook can do for themselves in their kitchen or their pantry? Just a couple tips, or maybe just one, to become better.
There's no one, so let me give a couple. I'm really a firm believer in having a full pantry and a full refrigerator. I sometimes feel like, well, if it's too full, then something's going to go bad, and okay, that's a problem.
Right.
That's an issue. But the way I like to cook is to say, what is there? And cook from that.
Okay, so you get inspired by what you see in the fridge, what you see in the pantry.
And the pantry is so important because especially, look, refrigeration is only 100 years old. But people didn't have refrigerators.
You're
100
right.
years ago, people didn't have refrigerators in their house. When I was growing up, our freezer was this big. I mean, you could put ice cubes in there and maybe like, a pound of hamburger or something like
Right.
that. Now we have like luxuriant amounts of refrigerated space and huge freezers. And that's really the pantry too. And things keep, if you
Right.
get fresh ingredients, they keep for a long, long time in the refrigerator.
You're right.
And then pantry stuff, of course, is really important. So it's just, to me, being a good cook is having a lot of cool stuff on hand and then knowing how to play around with it.
Do you have a secret pantry ingredient that maybe a lot of home cooks don't have?
Let's see. I always have dried mushrooms. I think they're quite awesome. Seaweed, I really like. Anchovies.
I love anchovies.
Everything else I have is not everything. I mean, I have some exotic stuff, but those are things I turn to all the time.
Anchovies, dried mushrooms, and seaweed. I want to make a dish with that right now.
Good.
Mark Bittman, thank you so much for your time. It was
Nice
such a pleasure to
chatting
meet
with
you.